So we talked all night about the rest of our lives, where we're gonna be when we turn 25. I keep thinking times will never change. Keep on thinking things will always be the same. But when we leave this
My name is Charlie Lockwood, and I was a resident at Pennsy between 1981 and 1985. And I have one, I hope, funny story, which was that in those days, in the Paleolithic period, we used to do our own epidurals, and we got pretty good at it. We would put many epidurals in every night, in fact, no one in the Department of Anesthesiology could put epidurals in. Well, sure enough, we ended up one night having one of the University of Pennsylvania anesthesiologist's wife in labor, and he insisted that one of our anesthesiologists put the epidural in. And they came up and they tried mightily, probably for about an hour to try to put it in, because he didn't want the residents putting the epidural in. And then after an hour, when his wife threatened to kill him, he asked me to put the epidural in. I called for Dr. Labrizzi. I may have been a little angry when I did. Dr. Labrizzi, stop, delay for delivery. And Ron came and he looked and talked to the man and looked at me and he said, "You're going to put that epidural in now." And I put the epidural in. I think it took me all of about 10 seconds. And the patient was very happy and completely pain-free. And I just glared at all the anesthesiologists in the room and walked out. And that was one of my happy memories from Pennsylvania Hospital.
Hi, Gary Frischman, class of '89. Favorite memory? I'm in the resident lounge. I turn to the second-year resident. I say, "Hey, how about we go back and place forceps on our multi-clinic patient? She would be a good candidate." I'm currently the third year. There's no attending in-house, but those were the days. She responds to me, "Oh, I don't know, I'm kind of busy." Key feature, we had a TV in the lounge. We were the only ones. So the general surgery resident who's hanging out with us turns to me and says, "Hey, I'd love to do a delivery." My chief resident, who shall remain unnamed, Bob Freeman, says, "Any doc who wants to do a delivery on my watch, it's okay by me." So rather than the third year taking the second year through forceps with no attending in the house, we do a fabulously controlled bed delivery. Everything goes brilliantly. The patient is great. The resident's thrilled. Subsequently, the labor floor nurse turns me into the chair, stating that although I identified the resident as a physician, I never specified that they were a general surgery resident. That, on top of the fact that general surgery residents don't have obstetrics covered, led me to one of my several visits to the chair's office. Everything turned out okay, although I did get to know the chair a little bit better that day. I wish you all the best. I have tons of great memories. It was a fabulous and is a fabulous program and hospital. Take care.
I'm Bob Friedman, class of '88. Fond memories of learning everything through Drew Mellon, Dick Nemiroff, Rick Krause, Greg Bolton. It's a blast to be working alongside Bill Atkins, Jen Akins, Manny Ferreira, and also get to keep in touch with Al Silverberg and Sue Whiteman, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and I wish everybody lots of luck, and things are going well here at Chester
One time when I
Hospital.
was operating with him, or actually being in the delivery room with him as an intern, he had a patient who was having her fourth baby, and she was clearly in active labor. And back then we would take patients from a labor room back to the current C-section rooms, which we consider delivery rooms, and we put the patients up in stirrups and take the table and prepare for delivery, do draping and prepping. And so Dr. Rugart was with me, and he turned to the table to get some local anesthetic, whatever, for an episiotomy, which we were doing back then. And the patient all of a sudden had this tremendous urge to push, and she pushed, and the baby just flew out. And back then we had a drape and sort of a bucket, but there was like some drapes in the bucket too, and the baby delivered right into the bucket. And it was just so hilarious. And Dr. Rugart very calmly, and we learned you need to keep calm in this specialty, very calmly picked the baby up out of the bucket, and the baby was perfectly fine. Announced the baby was a boy, put the baby in the mother's belly, and turned to me and said, "My, Dr. Krause, that was an explosive delivery." He was just so calm and cool and collected. It was just hilarious. But I will never forget working with Dr. Rugart and other physicians like him, and that was really special about being a Pennsy
I'm
resident.
Dr. Richard Nemiroff, PGY 50, and I've been asked to tell you about the most funny experience or profound experience that happened to me during my internship year at Pennsylvania Hospital. So I'll recount two brief episodes. One occurred on the very first day of internship, where they placed me in the emergency room. The supervision was a man named Dr. Herminio Munez, who was a general surgeon, but the only people who were going to treat emergent patients was Dr. Webb Stamen and myself. And when we came into the emergency room at 7 o'clock in the morning, our first day of internship, there was no one. The older gentleman came in with an upper respiratory infection. I listened to his chest, examined him, got some blood work, and just for completeness, since there was very little going on, ordered a chest X-ray. Immediately, got a phone call from Dr. Robert Campbell, Chief of Radiology. Dr. Campbell said, Dr. Nemiroff, the next time you send a patient with active cavitating tuberculosis down for X-rays, I'd like you to put a mask on him and notify our staff. That was the very first person that I saw at Pennsylvania.
Hi there, my name's Drew Mellon. I was an intern at Pennsylvania Hospital in 1980 and became an attending in 1984, and I've been there ever since. First thing I'd like to do is congratulate the graduates. You should all be very proud of yourself. It's quite an accomplishment. That is, of course, unless you made fun of me in the last few years for being an old geezer. Probably the most entertaining aspect of my career at Pennsylvania Hospital has been that for the last 32 years, every 3 or 4 weeks, Dr. Nemiroff has come into my office, sat down, put his feet up, and explained to me reminded me how he invented laparoscopy and hysteroscopy, and finally, lately, Lipitor. That's all I got.
Hi, I'm Lee Huppert. I finished my residency in 1976. I'm going to tell a story about Morning Report, which we had every morning. A terrifying experience, but also a very educational experience. So one morning, a resident a year above me was presenting a patient to Ed Wallach, who was chair of the department and a reproductive endocrinologist. So they presented a woman who had irregular periods, significant hair growth, and a deep voice. So those were the days of x-rays. There was an x-ray box. So the resident flung up the x-ray where you could see a very unusual looking pelvis, a very narrow pelvis with these big flaring hip bones, and down in the pelvic area in the region of the uterus there were about 6 little heads there. So of course everyone assumed that this was a woman with polycystic ovaries. Ed Wallach looked at it and had 2 comments. One, she was overstimulated to get her to ovulate because of the 6 little heads. And secondly, she had a most unusual pelvis and probably had rickets when she was a child. Well, as it turned out, this resident was doing research up at CHOP with one of the perinatologists there, and they were studying the use of steroids to prevent premature labor. And their subject were sheep, and they were administering steroids to the sheep. So this was one of the sheep that had gotten pregnant. I don't know why she was having six lambs, but she was. And this was a picture of the sheep, but you had to be there to see Ed Wallach's face. Oh my, look at that x-ray. This woman has some serious problems. Anyhow, it was a good morning report. One of the better ones.
I think my fondest memories at Pennsy involve teaching Mauricio English through Urban Dictionary throughout the years.
Favorite memory at Pennsy? Well, one that jumps out to mind is one of my first memories, and that's from interview day. Interview day was so inspirational and motivational, seeing everyone put their best foot forward and just seeing the culture and the history and everything that people were doing. That's what led me there, and I don't think it can be compared to anywhere else. So, congratulations, class of 2016.
Hi, my name's Renee Anderson, and I finished residency here in 2008. Some of my fondest memories are the quotes from Dominic Marciano. One of my favorites being, "I love the smell of bogey in the morning." But the best was when he used to teach us how to predict how long a patient had been admitted based on the stage of their hair. For example, stage 1, been here about a day, straight hair, relatively clean. Stage 2, been here several days, needs to shower, but not too bad. Stage 3, not quite sure what the patient looks like, however, seems to be alive. Stage 4, they need to go home. They've been here long enough, and we're not sure who they are anymore. So, I wish you best of luck, class of 2016. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Hi! Greetings from the frigid. I know there are a number of hilarious stories, but one that will stick with me forever and ever occurred in the crown jewel of chaos, aka the Pennsy, where it must have been a full moon or something because there were patients coming in and out, delivering all over the floor, pee proms, just mayhem, utter mayhem. And in the midst of all of this, there was a patient who strongly felt that I should ultrasound her, and it turned out that she wasn't pregnant. She also wasn't crazy, but she wanted to convince her baby daddy that she was pregnant so that she could stay with him and then later attempt to get pregnant. Because of the oath that I took, I could not perform this task, after which she threatened to assault me, and in the process of doing so, gave me the nickname Miss Burgundy for the fleece that I wore pretty much every day. Anyway, I made it out alive. She was escorted out of the hospital and was later found to be carrying some weapons. And I mean, that's why you have to love Pennsylvania Hospital and Philadelphia, because where else can you get a nickname like Miss Burgundy from a patient who is carrying a taser gun in her purse and also a shank in an undisclosed location on her person. Nonetheless, I made it out alive. I did not get tased, and I am also sure that Dom is very happy that one of his residents did not get tased during their training. You guys should all be so proud of yourselves for your accomplishment. Gracie Bear, Chrissy Ray, Katie, Mauricio, Ashley, Meredith, you guys are so wonderful. You're a great class, and I'm so proud of you, and you should be so proud of yourselves. Congratulations, and I wish you all.
Hi, class of 2016. Congratulations, you made it. I just wanted to tell you all how proud I am that you made it through chief year, and again, how grateful my class is for helping us out last year. Some of y'all may be surprised that I'm sending a video, but you know, I know that especially the lower years and the medical students especially were missing me, so I just wanted to, you know, let y'all hear my voice. Just want to leave you all with some words of wisdom. This is more for the lower years and the incoming interns. You know, anytime you feel like you're down, you can't make it through residency, it's too hard, you want to cry, you know, is this what I'm supposed to be doing with my life? Just remember these words. Put your big girl panties on. There's no crying in baseball.
Independent class of 2000.